I'll talk about the first two together because they're so related. And it's what goes on in the classroom and who gets into the classroom. So the first one is that general education curriculum has been completely gutted. It used to be that you would go in and you would take mathematics and logic and history and literature, and it would build a foundation for your major. You would have that baseline that you could then add to. Now it's just a smorgasbord. You go in, you take almost whatever you want, and if the faculty has imposed any limits, it's to make sure that you've taken a class on race, class, and gender. And the other part of it is that the students who do come in are not being held to the high standards they once were. Some universities, especially here in North Carolina, we've just seen a reduction. The SAT score required to get in is 750 combined for math and writing. And in other cases, the standards are just, they're not what they were. People are eschewing SAT scores altogether.
So what kinds of problems do you have on a campus when you have students who shouldn't necessarily be getting in and requirements that don't really require what they should be learning?
Well, one of the problems is that they're willing to take the faculty's word as gospel. And there are too many faculty members who are just replacing those old foundations with a new dogma of relativism and postmodernism. And they do that, across the curriculum in so many different ways. They do it by, like I said, adding race, class, and gender in. Tenured radicals get hired instead of, or radicals get hired and then get tenure instead of real scholars. But what they really do is they attack civil liberties. So one way is by attacking religious freedom on campus, and this has been going on for decades, and they just keep changing their tactics. So in the 80s, they tried to keep religious groups from using classroom space, and the Supreme Court said, no, you can't do that. Then in the 1990s, they told student groups that Christian student groups or religious student groups couldn't share in student funds. The Supreme Court said, no, you can't do that. You just have to distribute it evenly. And so finally, they tried a new tactic, and that was you have to have an all-comers policy. So if you're a Christian group or you're a Muslim group, you are not allowed to say that your leaders have to be Christian or Muslim. It has to be, just open to everybody. And they finally won in the Supreme Court. So now the all-comers policy is the law of the land, unless states protect it specifically. So here in North Carolina and in Ohio, that's protected. But in the other 48 states, that's not the case.